Okay, you know who else I got into this weekend?
Oh, here we go.
I got into on HBO Max. There's a show called Painting with John. Do you know that show?
No.
It's funny to think that you, Mr. Snob, artistic snob rat brat, don't know who he is because he is a god in the artistic community. You think you're a highbrow art.
I'm not high, and I don't like the way you're doing that with your finger.
You like.
I don't like a highbrow.
You like highbrow.
I don't
art.
do this.
No, you want to be a part of a highbrow community.
Yeah.
Mom, do you like waterfall? Have you ever seen before?
That's not what it sounds like.
That's exactly what you sound like.
Mom, do you like waterfall?
Do I really sound like that?
You sometimes do, yeah.
Waterfall here, first time for you.
All right.
I'm Bobby Mom. I'm Bobby Mom.
Well, you know, there's people that voted for Biden that are doing it now.
Yeah.
They're like, what did I do?
I don't know how you
Did you hear what he said like yesterday or a couple days ago?
Mm-mm.
He was talking about the Revolutionary War. He's like, one of the reasons why we lost the Revolutionary War, one of the problems with the Revolutionary War was they didn't have enough airports.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
I saw that. Like, what the hell?
Like, if you had any other job and you were talking like that,
yeah,
they would go, hey, you're done. You're done.
If you talk like that to a doctor at your medical exam to fight, they'd be like, okay, like obviously you're not fighting. You would also, here's 8 weeks of being helped out by professional, like
right. You might not ever do anything again.
No, it's one of the wildest things.
By the way, the same stable genius has said the biggest problem we had in the Revolutionary War is we didn't have enough airports.
Yeah, that's it.
Whoa.
What?
Just for the record.
Is that fake?
It's not fake, but he was referencing Trump saying that. Here's what Trump saying it in 2019. Donald Trump said something about that. He didn't say Jesus. He said a stable genius, and that's where the transcription.
Let me hear what it says. What did he say?
In June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army out of the revolutionary forces encamped around Boston and New York, and named after the great George Washington, Commander-in-Chief. The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across the waters of the Delaware, and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he fucked up.
Yeah, he did. But I feel like that's you can tell too. It sounds like a little different. He's like, you can tell he like messed up his words, but yeah. He was just, I don't know.
To go with.
You talk like that to a doctor at your medical exam to fight, they'd be like, okay, like obviously you're not fighting.
If you had any other job and you were talking like that, they would go, hey, you're done. I had this dog, rest in peace. His name is Johnny Cash. He was the best dog. I'll get sad. But, let me catch my breath here because I really loved that dog.
Oh, I understand this. I just lost a dog last May.
This dog was he was just such a sweetheart.
I'm Bobby Mom. I'm Bobby Mom.
His dad, my dog's dad, was actually in the movie The Hulk. If you ever saw the movie The Hulk with Eric Bana, when they turned the dogs into Hulk dogs, that was actually that dog. So anyway, I had his son, and he was the fucking best.
I'm Bobby Mom. I'm Bobby Mom.
I despise Santino. I just believe he doesn't belong in comedy. And what Andrew Santino did on this latest Bad Friends, because he has such guilt for being racist, is so despicable and so anti-comedy. I have proof that Andrew Santino is scum. Would you like to start? Would you like to see my proof?
Please.
I can't believe this. So it's Bad Friends. It's Andrew Santino with Bobby Lee, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen Andrew Santino go,
"Ooh, I'm a Bobby Lee. Ooh, I'm afraid. It's a no good. Ooh, Bobby."
Doing a Chinese voice. When I think of Andrew Santino, I think of his Chinese voice. When I think of Bad Friends, I think of that. This show was built around Andrew Santino mocking Bobby Lee's ultra Chinese squeal.
Ooh, I'm a thicker piglet little Chinese man.
Now, I come from a world where I can't find a reason on God's earth that making fun of Chinese voices is bad. I just can't find a reason. Your voice sounds exactly like our imitations. Bobby Lee heard about George Floyd and they panicked. And they said, oh my God, we've been letting our friends do Asian jokes for so long. This is terrible. And Santino has done the Asian accent his whole life. This is what made him a star. They purposely go out of their way to, what do they call it? Condone? Is that against? Condone?
No, that's the opposite.
Condemn.
Yes.
They go out of their way to condemn Asian accents.
I'm Bobby Mom.
Santino, with all that's going on right now, he knows, it's just a matter of time before all of my Chinese voices will be looked at as racist. I want to get ahead of this. I want to be a mainstream player. I want to be Tom Cruise. You can't be Tom Cruise if you've done an Asian accent.
Oh! No, don't you! Ooh, I, puppy, you know how to do this with me. I want to dance on your lap and maybe shake my pussy.
Okay, bro, I have to stop you. I have to stop because it's so good. Did you just get transformed like you were back in Tokyo, Japan?
What's going on up here?
But instead of saying, you know what? You're allowed to do an Asian accent. You're allowed to make a joke about a black person. It's not the same as systematic racism and oppression. Instead of saying that, they fold and they plead and they beg. And what Santino did on this episode I'm about to show you is one of the most repulsive things. And his listeners have picked up on this. There was a woman out there who made a video. She went viral because she had a birthday party and she sang a song, an Asian song where she goes, I want to be a ninja. And I guess they've been playing it on their show for a few weeks and they've been laughing and laughing and laughing. But they invited this woman on their show to be a guest. And Santino and Bobby condemn her racism for doing an Asian voice. Andrew Santino goes full Hippocratic.
I'm Bobby Mom, and
the internet fucking loved it.
but what is a cracker rocker? I'm not Bobby Mother. I'm Bobby Mom.
So a couple weeks ago, we talked about someone who made a song on the internet.
I want to be ninja.
Okay, and they've been showing this song. Now, it's very funny. It's a woman at her birthday party, a white woman, looks like some racist from True Blood. And she goes, I want to be ninja. And they've been playing the song and laughing about it for months. And they're having her on the show to tell her why she's wrong. Watch this.
And we said, okay, let's talk. Let's come on the show because she said she wants to explain her position.
Yeah.
She said she wants to explain her position.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Jen Murphy.
Jennifer
Yay. Murphy. Hi.
Jen, I want to say this. I think the song is extremely catchy.
Yeah.
Right?
All right, so they're playing good cop, bad cop. Bobby the pussy is going to be devil's advocate, good cop. Santino is going to persecute her. Why? Because Santino, and listen, I'm going to give you the spoiler before we get into this. This is so sick. Santino's been doing an Asian accent and being very racist for so long. He needed to come up with a way to explain why he's allowed to be racist, but that in fact, he's not racist, and he actually looks down upon people who are racist for no reason. It's the most despicable. I mean, really, I hope this unfolds. Let's watch. This is so This might be.
This is Santino's most disgusting move ever.
Really? Seriously, watch this.
If I was at your party, I probably would have danced, right? Because usually when I listen to music, though, I don't really listen to the lyrics, really.
Right.
I just like the tone of it.
Right.
So I like the tone of it, you know, and I liked it.
If you heard the lyrics, would you stop dancing and go, wait a second, what was that?
I would just.
So they've got this white woman on, and this white woman is a YouTuber. She considers herself to be a comedian. Hey, listen, if you've got a lot of people that are laughing at what you do, it's not up to anybody to decide what you are. Santino and Bobby do not own comedy. And they're going to tell this woman that she's not a comedian. She's not allowed to make jokes.
Like, am I at a Klan rally? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But
so they're doing the thing that all pussies do where they like really pretend that they love the person and they're nice to them because they're afraid of conflict. And here she is thinking, oh, you know, I'm going to be able to explain myself. They'll surely get it. But they're doing that sneaky deaky thing where they hate her, but they're trying to let her expose herself because they're too pussy to say anything.
You know, the song is cute, and yeah, I think if I was your friend and I knew you, and
so she's basically coming on the show to go, listen, I'm not racist. I did a goofy song. Here's the reason why. And the people that follow me on YouTube and know me, they know that I'm just goofing. And she's being like very naive. You know, you also got to be aware enough to know that, no, the mob is not going to let you do something that's just absurd. You must obey the mob. It doesn't matter your intent. It doesn't matter if you don't hate Asians. So for him to stick it to her just because he's guilty about his own Asian jokes is so despicable.
And then we're like at it, but at the very end, we make up and we become friends. And so as I started writing this song, I thought, you know, part of my blonde persona that I have in my YouTube.
Okay, so this is interesting, and I'm cutting to the chase because it's a long interview. But a real comedian would go, okay, I understand. And she even explained, she goes, my character that I play in these videos is a dumb, stupid blonde. And within this character, she thinks that it's okay to do this Asian voice, not understanding how cringe it is. But that's part of the funny of the character, that she's just willing to be this stupid, knowing very well that it's not allowed and people will cringe. And she explains this, and she's self-aware that this is what she does, and Santino doesn't allow it. So watch this.
And I try and be self-deprecating and act like I'm a DB blonde, and so I thought, well, part of me thinking I'm becoming a ninja is assuming his accent, like trying to sound like him too.
Right.
And I thought, okay, it would be kind of funny. I want to, you know. And so we're in the recording studio.
Listen.
And my sister Juliana, she helps me with a lot of my projects. Dennis, my producers there, and we had a few other people. You know, I don't think we had an Asian in the mix, which probably would have been a good idea.
I think it's safe to say there's no way there was an Asian in the mix. I think if there was one Asian,
thing, like what would you call that? What you're doing here? I mean, passive aggressive kind of, where you're just walking around your point. Like she's like, it probably would have gone over better if I had an Asian in the recording studio to let me know this could be offensive. He's like, yeah, you think? Oh, we like you. And it's like, Santino, you do the same thing as her, but because she's not passed at the Comedy Store, because Chris D'Elia isn't friends with her, because she's not part of the Rogan circle, she's not allowed to do what you do?
I bet they would have gone, I don't know. Do you think in retrospect, you think in retrospect you wouldn't have done the accent? You think in retrospect you wouldn't have done the accent?
No, you know what?
You're sticking with
I
it.
have a lot of Asian friends, and they all think it's funny, but they also know where I'm coming from, and that I did it for
Yeah, you know what? I listen.
All right,
I've
that's
now-
context. I want you to remember this because we get into a very important discussion about context. That's going to be Santino's excuse. And she's got her own group of friends and fans that understand her, and they know she's not racist. But Santino doesn't know her, and she hasn't been on Rogan, so he's going to claim that she is not doing it within context. She doesn't have the right to do it because people don't know her true self, even though she's telling you that her fans get it, her friends get it. That's not good enough for Santino. Watch, this will make sense soon.
I'm coming from, and that I did it for
okay. You know what? I listen. I've now listened to your point of view. I know the journey now to the song.
Yeah.
Right. You're also a comedian, which I didn't know. I literally didn't know anything about you in the video, so I just thought you were just.
When you say comedian, what do you mean? You mean you do comedic videos online?
Yeah, she does. She's a comedian. She does.
So stand-up comedians own the term comedian in general. They think they're the top tier of comedy, and then comedic actors come second, improvisers come third. What would you say? Comedic videos, sketches come fourth, and then everybody else is not a comedian. And you could see, and they're going to even admit to it, you're not a comedian unless you're part of our crew. Wow, isn't that exclusive?
Strict.
Yikes.
I made like probably 300 funny YouTube videos. I drive a kid's Barbie Jeep. I act like it's my real car. I taunt people. I write lots of different songs usually with the message of, in fact, I have my sun chart right here. This is all of the different ways that I try.
Now listen, is she corny? Does she suck? Yes. But you know what? People like her. They laugh. I like her better than Santino.
And I thought you were just some drunk girl at a party.
Yeah.
Who wrote the song 10 minutes before, right? You performed it. And then I didn't know anything about you. So when you watch it in that context, you go, wow.
Yeah.
You know? And also, you know, I've seen, not you specifically, but, I've been to Orange County and,
there can be a lot of shallowness.
It's a very conservative area.
Yeah.
Irvine, right? They're more right wing. That's probably in California the most right wing area, right?
Yeah, probably southern.
And so, and then when I see the scope of the audience, because I have eyes, right? It's one Asian girl and generally mostly white people.
It's all white people.
And you're singing this ninja song.
And when Santino, it's all white people. Santino, you're a white people. It's so funny how some whites think that they're more ethnic than the rest of us. And they get to decide what whites are allowed to do. And Santino, out of fear, flipped. He's like a full SJW.
Yeah, I think I was a little offended when I saw it. But now, when I know that...
Watch it. You're going to be really mad.
That you're a comedian, right? And you do comedic videos. And
So, and I want to say this again. She considers herself a comedian. She's doing comedy. She did something for comedy's sake, and you have two other comedians policing her, saying only we're allowed to do what you do for comedy. So Santino and Bobby Lee are allowed to do racist material. You're not, because they don't know you as a comedian. There's context to Santino being in Santino's mind. Everybody in the world knows he's a comedian and Joe Rogan approved, so he can't possibly be a bad guy. But we don't know you, and so you're attempting comedy, but because you're not in our circle, it's not allowed. Only we're allowed to do comedy, and that's what's so sick about this. And this is what you're seeing. Watch.
I I would never want to hurt somebody. You know, that would the last thing that I would
do you think perhaps do you think in retrospect, being genuine, I'm not attacking you, do you think it is a little bit insensitive?
You know what? I think if you see it with the context and when you see,
it's easier for us to make fun of ourselves, but you saying ninja.
I'm just making fun of myself being a blonde.
But when doing a stereotypical Asian accent, you're making fun of.
Is he being purposefully obtuse here? Because obviously she means that she's doing an impression of someone who would think that it's okay to do that accent.
Okay.
But then
well,
he
here's
keeps
the
going
thing.
back to, a dumb blonde would never do an accent. It's like, that's not what she's saying.
It doesn't matter. She's doing a comedy character. And in her character, she could do whatever the fuck she wants. When you watch Django Unchained, you could see a man say the N-word 400 times. It doesn't mean he's a real cowboy with a 6-shooter who is a slave master. Why is she not allowed to do a character that's stupid, that makes fun of other races because she's so stupid? Now that they know she's a comedian and she has no ill will, they're kind of fucked. And Santino already had a program that he was going to school a racist, but they're learning, no, she's not really racist. Santino and Bobby Lee, they don't allow themselves comedic freedom because they worry about what people will say. They worry about what's allowed and what's not allowed, so they play within those parameters. What she's doing is actually something that should be allowed. And now you've got two comedians, because of their fear, they're taking their fear out on her, and they're saying, no. Hey, we're not allowed to do it, so you shouldn't be allowed to do it. This is sick.
Look, it's like, I don't say the N-word in front of ever in front of a black person especially, but black people say it to each other because they have a pass, right?
So could you ever do like a Valley Girl,
Yeah, because
white people are the
Yeah, because Valley Girls have never suffered oppression. There's never been like an oppressive moment of Valley Girls that weren't given opportunities or weren't given. No.
Guys, I'm a comedian like you.
Yeah.
I need to be able to make fun of everything, but without a mean spirit.
Yeah, but here's the thing: when you say like we don't like we oftentimes make off-color jokes or
you do?
Or we talk a lot of dumb shit.
Watch.
But context means almost everything as a comedian.
Here's where it goes bad. Because Santino doesn't know what to do. Santino has done the Asian accent more times than her, in a more racist way than her, and he's scraping for a reason, an excuse, and he's going, well, the reason we're allowed to do it is because we have context. There's context to it. You know that there's no hate in our heart, so we're allowed to do it. And she's going, well, there's no hate in my heart. Why aren't I allowed to do it? So he's going to give this bullshit reason as to why he's allowed to do racist accents. Let's play his accents. Santino is going to start doing an Asian accent here with 3 whites with no context. And this is just one of 1,000 times.
I had to help me put on my boots, Chin. Go on, put on my boots, Chin. Chin goes home. He make me put on his boot. When he was 3, he did.
He's not an immigrant. When he was younger. When you were younger, you had a thicker accent.
Put on his boot. His parents like, what did he make you do? He showed me his oil stick.
What?
His oil stick. What did he make you do, Chin?
There's
He
more.
making me taste his oil.
Too much. So they're laughing, and the funny part is the Asian accent. There's no context to Asian people are good here. This is just, hey, we're all laughing hysterically at your funny Asian voice, and there's nothing wrong with that. The woman did the same thing, but Santino's allowed to do it because he's friends with Joe Rogan, who's here to heal the world. And you're a white woman who looks conservative, you're not allowed to do it. So there's just one example, no context, of Santino doing it. Let's go back to Santino. Let's hear his reasoning.
We talk a lot of dumb shit, but context means almost everything as a comedian. So like the way we do it or the subject involved It matters a lot. So when you say like, oh, I should be able to do an Asian accent, it's like, yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, you just have to understand context is going to mean everything. So the way it's received is going to be contextual. So no one knows how you really feel. They're going to take at face value. People know how we feel on this show. That's why we talk so freely.
But she was just doing it to her audience. Just because you don't know her doesn't mean people don't. And hey, what if I don't know you, Santino?
Are you Brad Pitt?
What if someone clips all your Chinese accents, makes a montage of them, puts them on YouTube, and I don't know you? Am I allowed to think you're racist? Or because you're friends with Rogan and Bobby Lee, you're allowed to do it, but we're not? This is crazy.
People, people that do know me or that follow me, they understand who I am. Well, if you look up the work I've done for the last 12 years, I have given my heart and soul. Any money I make in business, I put right back into everything to help unify women and people around the world.
Jenny, we're not saying that you're a bad person. We think that you're a good person. I'm not saying that.
Well,
I'm not even calling you a racist.
I just feel like because I'm white and blonde,
I think you're a good person.
But Santino doesn't agree. Watch.
Blonde, I am such a different. I'm put in a box, and so if I can't do a funny Asian accent, what? I can't do a funny Hispanic accent. I can't.
So do you think you're not allowed to do accents because you're a blonde white woman? You think it's almost you think that's the reason why?
Well, why can other comedians do accents and it's okay?
Listen.
It really depends on who's doing the accent.
It really depends on who's doing the accent. Santino, I want to show you this. And listen, I could do this all day. Here's Santino. I mean, just watch this.
No context.
No context. This is Santino doing a set at the Laugh Factory in Los Angeles. This is from a few years back, but here's Andrew Santino on stage at the Laugh Factory. Remember, I have no context. I'm just playing a clip on YouTube, and there's a comedian speaking. Let's take a look.
Anyway, this is it's a good night to be out. It's a good night to be alive, and I want to talk about current topics, current events, things that are happening now. Wait
a minute, is she doing a Indian accent? Watch this.
I'm heavy, very, very heavy into this song on the radio. Everybody knows I get knocked down, but I will get up again. But you never keep me down.
I'm waiting. What's the context here? What is the context? Why is everybody laughing? You're not saying anything funny. A crowd is laughing at the sound of an Indian voice coming out of a white man.
You're aware of the song? You know the song? What is that? Okay, what radio do you listen to, pal? Tune in, man. Okay, tune in. Okay, this motherfucker.
So, to make a long story short, he does a 3-minute bit. He does his whole stand-up routine as an Indian. There is no context. I just see a white, redheaded guy mocking an Indian, and there's no reveal in this clip as to why you're doing it. You still are not the authority here, Andrew Santino, and this whole thing was cooked up to save your own ass. And what you're doing here is so smug. I hope you can see how smug he's being. And wait till you see how this all ends. You're going to be actually... You haven't even seen the bad parts yet. Wait till I show you.
At this part.
Say who I am, and I really appreciate that. And I see you guys love what you do. You're both really good. You're really fun. And we need that right now. We need positivity.
Well, Jen, let me say this to you. We appreciate you.
Yeah, we do.
But let me say this. When you say self-deprecating, you got to be self-deprecating. Do you know what I mean?
What?
Like if you're saying if I'm being self-deprecating, I can't. If I'm being self-deprecating about me being a redhead, I can't be a redhead making fun of. I can't make fun of being a redhead, but then do an Asian accent. Do you know what I mean? Because I'm not Asian. So if I'm doing self-deprecation,
purposefully obtuse. Like how
this
does he
is
not
so weird.
Understand what
but
he's
you
saying?
are a redhead who doesn't. And by the way, it's not like I caught him once doing an Asian accent in '96. Him and Bobby. I mean, really, if I had the time, I could find him doing an Asian accent almost every day of the year. He does this Asian accent, Santino does, literally almost every day. That's like part of his comedic character.
I'd have to go, hey, I'm just a dumb ginger. I can't go, oh, I'm a dumb ginger.
You just did it.
It wouldn't, that's not the same
and
thing.
Why did you laugh? Bobby just laughed. He goes, oh, I'm a dumb ginger. And Bobby left. You just did it. What's your excuse? And now you even got a little smile on your face because it was funny.
So you can't, if you're going to make fun of yourself for being a dumb blonde, you got to just make fun of yourself for being a dumb blonde. We appreciate you coming to speak your piece. I will say this. You keep thriving. Keep doing your thing. Don't read comments.
I try not to.
Oh, look at Santino. And guess what, Santino? He's telling her, don't read the comments because you're going to get slaughtered. Actually, Santino, you're the one who shouldn't read the comments. Because they all went after you. And just like Bobby Lee's fan base, these people aren't stupid. And you know what? We signed up for something, and it wasn't this. It wasn't two fucking fake SJW scaredy cats telling us what's allowed and what's not allowed. And guess what? All the comments are against Santino. And guess what? Everyone was tweeting at him, calling him a hypocrite. And guess what? He's burying the evidence.
They're gonna light you.
Because we get comments all the time. And we get ripped apart. And Jen,
they're gonna light you up.
Person.
They didn't.
This is just a suggestion. Maybe not do the accent.
No more ninja. How about no more ninja?
Look at this. Comedians telling you what to do. No more ninja. Here's a suggestion. Don't do it. You're not allowed to do something that we deem is not funny. I mean, that's...
You heard it here first.
This is some Nazi Germany stuff. Believe me, there's a bigger development here.
Thank you very much, Jen. You have a great rest of the day.
They hang up on her. And now they're mocking and laughing at her like she's the dumbest thing on earth. She's so tone deaf.
I got to the point where I was just like,
You were very nice.
I was.
Wasn't he exceptionally nice? You were very nice.
Once I realized.
You made me hold my tongue.
Once I realized, right, that I've dealt with people like that.
Right.
She's tone deaf.
Yeah.
Tone deaf.
And
look at Santino.
And maybe that is true, but
Santino
he's not the one to.
Santino's done everything and more that she's done. This is why it's so confusing and crazy. This would make sense if these guys were like this their whole time, but Santino literally does accents for laughs.
He tried to equate her childhood to my childhood.
Same thing. She grew up in Oregon.
He's being passive aggressive with everything.
People used to make fun of her in Oregon. They used to say, "Look at you."
I know.
By the way, Bobby Lee's new name is Bobby Ree. Sorry, I'm against Asians now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's the thing. She's going to watch the episode. She's going to see.
Yeah.
I will stand by my point very obviously. I think people that know me would obviously know that I did very good. Whoa. I did very good at being nice and calm. What did not get mean. I know
he's like proud of this interview too. He thinks he like stood up for what's right in America. He didn't go nuts. He didn't go red in the face. He is really proud of how he treated her. Watch this.
Then slow down.
Yeah. No, because there was
because I wasn't going to be
3 minutes in. I wanted to get out.
I know, me too.
Right, 3 minutes in, I go, oh,
I could feel your energy.
My energy was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So then I was just playing nice.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to also, I think that she is in her heart not a bad person.
Of course, she's probably not
a great person.
She just doesn't have the she doesn't have the she doesn't have any social context to why any Asian friend who's a real Asian friend would go, don't do that.
Also,
any Asian friend would go, that's not okay.
White people are the oppressor. You can't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whites are the oppressor to Asians, Bobby Lisa. Everyone who's not white decided that, oh my God, yeah, we're enslaved just like the blacks. No, you're not.
Yeah, I mean, dude, we're talking to each other here. I don't hate the woman. I think it's just it's just tone deaf. It's just
tone deaf.
It's very
especially she's an attractive white, very white, right?
That's
she
racist.
Has money, you can see from the backdrop.
You have money,
even if she doesn't. The point is like it's.
No, I'm just.
Yeah.
She has every right to defend her point of view.
Sure, that's why we let her do it.
And I don't think that we have to.
You're gonna love this.
Her. I think that people's opinion.
I think she's been persecuted by the internet.
Well, I think if this comes out,
yeah,
this is going to be very difficult for her.
It's coming out.
I know it is. I know. So that's why I don't think
so
that.
They thought this was like an expose, and this woman's going to be like on the news tomorrow for being racist. That never happened. And you're sitting here as if you're George Carlin, telling us, what's allowed in comedy and what's not.
I know you are.
When she said comedian, bothered.
I understand that.
It bothered me so much.
The same thing happens with me, whereas I go, don't be a comedy elitist, because I don't like it when it happens to me. There's a hierarchy above me,
Yeah, but you're a literal comedian.
Yeah, I understand that. I'm a legitimate comedian.
Big difference.
I know, but you can't just say that.
Hey, big difference.
Because it's
And you can just say that.
Ooh, do you hear his tone? Just because he does stand-up comedy. Again, cavemen were making jokes. Everyone makes jokes. Just because you do stand-up comedy as a profession doesn't mean you run comedy.
I understand that you said it, and you can say it, but just listen for a second. Okay. That just because you're not passed at the Comedy Store or any of these clubs,
then you're not a comedian.
Wow. I know.
No, I know what you mean. There's comedians that aren't just stand-ups, right?
Right. There are different types of comedians.
Sketch,
that I've learned
improv.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, if you're in sketch, in my comedy elite mind, are you in the Friday Saturday company at the Groundlings?
Wow.
Because if you are, then you're like, or you're even just the Sunday company, or you're a course there.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yeah, you're legitimate, or you're at UCB or Second City or wherever it might be. You could call yourself a comedian.
Yeah.
Right. If you're if you do YouTube videos, you're popular and you're doing it with legit people or whatnot. Like I would say that. So
the defining line tends to be if you're
these
funny.
are the rules. If you're funny, you got to be funny to Santino, otherwise you're not a comic. Okay, well you're not funny to me.
I know. I was just about to say I find you entirely offensive.
I mean, I hate you
in every way.
But that doesn't matter because I'm not a comedian. So my say doesn't matter. But I got to show you a sneaky deaky move. So Santino was actually getting a lot of pushback on this. And a lot of people were calling him a hypocrite and posting clips of him doing Chinese accents. And on Twitter, after this show aired, he was being called a hypocrite a lot. And I went back to check his @mentions. Santino is on Twitter June 10th, and he writes this: "Your new porn name is what you called your grandpa and the model of your family childhood car. Mine, Poppy Cutlass Supreme. Go." And he did, listen to this. He asked his audience, and he's got a big audience, he asked his audience to do a bullshit game. And I never put two and two together. Now watch this. When you search Andrew Santino on Twitter, here, let's try it. @Cheeto. Hold on, I got it. Santino. Hit enter and support by latest, and you start scrolling. Well, not today, but yesterday. All you're getting for an hour long scrolling is answers to his question. So here's an example. Poppy Commodore, because he's asking, what was the question again?
What's your porn name?
What's your porn name? Your grandpa in a car. And he's got
very
a ton
cool stuff.
So
by the
he
way.
got, and by the way, so check this out. When he asked that, he got, well, it
doesn't show.
Oh, it doesn't show how many comments?
Yeah, I can find it.
I thought it did.
It does when you look at it from the main
from his
page,
main
but
feed.
then
Okay.
it doesn't.
Okay, look at this. 1.1 thousand comments. So when you search him, you have to scroll down 1.1 thousand. It's all porn name you're going to give up. He asked this question the minute he started getting accused of hypocrisy, and people were accusing him of the same racism that he excluded. So him and his manager, I believe, came up, hey, ask your Twitter a trivia question or something.
This is probably a move that they've been doing
Yes,
all along.
they've been probably doing this move for centuries. Do you understand what I mean? They're burying the at mention. So if you search for Santino, you're not going to find anything about him being racist unless you have the patience to scroll for an hour and a half. When you scroll his name after a controversial day, all you're getting is nonsense at mentions saying a car and a grandpa name. So he buried the complaints. And I bet you one of his little managers came up with this move. He's not smart enough, but he buried the complaints by doing a move because he saw there was backlash. He didn't want anyone finding out about his racism, so he swindled everybody. Did a little switcheroo. Yikes! That's some pretty bad stuff. Santino, not a fan of the people, a bad man.
What's going on up here?
It doesn't matter what you say anymore. It doesn't matter what you say anymore.
I'm Bobby Mom.
It doesn't matter what you say.